How to avoid illegal deductions from tipped employee wages. Imagine working hard every day, serving customers, and earning tips that are part of your income. Now, think about what happens if your employer makes deductions that cut into those tips. It can be confusing and even unfair. So, how can employers make sure they stay on the right side of the law and protect their workers' earnings? Let's break it down. First, employers need to understand the rules about tipping and minimum wages. They can pay a lower base wage to tipped employees because tips are supposed to make up the difference to reach the minimum wage. But they must tell employees that tips are being used as part of the pay. If the tips plus the base wage don't add up to at least the minimum wage, the employer has to pay the rest. This keeps workers earning at least the legal minimum. Next, deductions should only be for costs that are directly related to tips. For example, if a credit card company charges a processing fee, the employer can deduct that fee. But they can't take more than the actual cost and must tell employees about any deductions beforehand. Deductions that reduce wages below the minimum wage are illegal. Tip pooling is another area to watch. Employers can have employees share tips with coworkers who regularly receive tips, like servers and bussers. But managers, supervisors, and owners cannot share in the tip pool. Employers also cannot withhold tips for themselves or use tips to cover unrelated business expenses. All tip pooling must follow federal and state laws. Overtime pay is also important. Tipped employees must be paid overtime based on the full minimum wage, not just their reduced tipped wage. 4 hours over 40 in a week, they should receive 1.5 times their regular wage. Not paying proper overtime is an illegal deduction. Keeping accurate records is key. Employers should track all tips reported by employees and any deductions taken. They need to report tips properly for taxes and give employees clear wage statements. Transparency helps prevent wage disputes and illegal deductions. Finally, communication is vital. Employers should clearly explain their policies about tips, deductions, and the tip credit. Having written policies and getting employees to acknowledge them can prevent misunderstandings and legal issues. In short, employers can avoid illegal deductions by paying at least the minimum wage after tips, limiting deductions to lawful expenses, handling tip pooling correctly, paying proper overtime, keeping detailed records, and being open with employees. Following these steps helps protect workers' earnings and keeps the business compliant with wage and hour laws.